Hi everyone, welcome back to another session of the Relaxing Fertility Yoga sponsored by the Fertility Partnership. My name is Julie Elot Grace and I am always honored to welcome you to these sessions. So this is the second of our pre-recorded sessions at the moment. We will be back live on Zoom at 5:45 on next Thursday, UK time, and you can sign up on my website to get that Zoom link each week. For now, I'm teaching at a retreat in Portugal, and unfortunately I have an evening class here that conflicts with this one, hence the pre-recording. But again, next week we will be back together live from my house at the usual time. As you can see, I am in the studio and it is full of all of the guest stuff at the moment, so I'm just going to leave it as it is and kind of work around it. It's quite beautiful here, as you can hopefully see. I mean, there's the pool, some guests, the river. So we're going to start, as we always do, with a centering and breathing exercise, and then we will move into our warm-up movements and then flow through some postures and relax at the end. I won't play any music tonight because of the pre-recording. YouTube will often, if I use any kind of, what is the word I want? Copyrighted music, they'll just cut all the sound out. So feel free to put your own music on. And also please feel free to grab any props that you might have available to you. So that might be yoga props, which you can see all around me. There's blocks and straps and bolsters and blankets, but you might have yoga props in your own house. So you might have blankets and cushions and things that might feel good to you to use. We're going to, before I say anything else, I just want to remind everybody that these classes are here for everyone. So that includes women and men. And these are safe if you are currently in any physical part of the IVF journey. So if you are doing an embryo transfer, these classes are safe. But I always recommend, regardless of IVF, regardless of anything else, please always listen to your body, okay? So you know how you're feeling, you know if you're injured, you know what's going on. So just always please make sure that you're listening to your body. That being said, these classes are designed, again, with IVF in mind, so we won't do any deep twists, we won't do any hardcore stuff, we won't do any core work, inversions, and we'll try to keep it pretty light. It's all about reducing your cortisol and just dropping into this moment now with yourself. So, sorry, I always talk a bit at the beginning. I know some of you have heard it many times, but for anyone new, it is really important that you're aware of all of that. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is find a comfortable centering position. And you can either do that by sitting or lying down. So it's really up to you. If you decide, let me say that again. So if you've been sitting at a desk all day, I definitely recommend lying down onto your back. It will just give your hip flexors a little bit of a break. So, and your lower back a little bit of a break. So if you do decide to come down onto your back, and you're gonna have to forgive me, I'm gonna move all of these props everywhere in this session. If you come down onto your back, you can bend your knees, placing your feet on the floor, or you can extend the legs all the way out, just letting them flop and splay, as long as that feels good to you. If you prefer to sit, you can just sit up nice and tall, and you can either sit on the floor or you could even sit up onto a cushion or a bolster if you have one. Okay. So So just find what serves you, what feels best to you. And whether you're sitting or lying down, take a few rolls of the shoulders. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. Exhale them down and back. And again. And one more. And just relax the shoulders down. Relax the hands either facing up or down. Close your eyes. And take a few deep inhales through the nose, with exhales sighing or blowing the air out of the mouth. Just do that as many times as you need. And then at some point when you're ready, just let your natural breath take over. Notice your breath. Notice where it lands in your body. What can the breath tell you about this moment in your body? And take the awareness to the face and start to soften the face. Relax the brow. Relax down along the corners of the eyes and the corners of the mouth. Loosen the jaw. Take that same awareness down to your hands, softening and relaxing through the hands and the fingers, the palms and the fingers. So often we store tension in the face and in the hands without even necessarily realizing it. So just try to let them relax as best you can. And then let's begin the session this evening in an energy of gratitude. So in your mind, I'd like you to start to create a gratitude list. And this list really could be for anything and everything, no matter how big or small, material or immaterial. Just in your mind for about a minute or so, just let yourself start to draw into your awareness some of the things for which you're grateful. And you can pause on each thing and then just allow yourself to naturally move on to the next thing, just free associating. There are no shoulds here, it's just what comes to you. And again, material or immaterial. Sometimes people can feel guilty for feeling grateful for material things, but actually being grateful for material things is far more important than not being grateful for them. So just, what are some of the things in your life for which you're grateful? And honestly, this list could be endless. If you think about just the ecosystems that we're part of and the systems within our bodies and how intricate they are, the microbiome and your heart pumping blood and just so much, even just within our own organism. So just take a minute or so and let yourself start to create the sense of gratitude in your mind. If you're feeling really down today and this isn't working for you, it's okay. Don't feel even more down if it doesn't happen. Allow whatever is there and know it's all okay. But if it resonates for you, just start to create this gratitude list. What are some of the things for which you're grateful? Start to bring that gratitude list to a pause. And take the gratitude back to your breath. And just start to deepen the breath through the nose. Inhale through the nose, take the breath down into the belly so that the belly rises with the inhale. Exhale out the nose and feel the belly roll back towards the spine. And then deepen the breath further. Inhale through the nose, fill up, belly, ribs, chest, expanding all the way up through the inhale. Exhale out the nose, chest, ribs, and belly contract. If you're familiar with that ujjayi or that ocean wave sounding breath, please feel free to come into that now. Otherwise, you can keep on breathing that dirga breath. Take about 5 rounds or so more of just slow, deep breath, really activating the diaphragm, activating that breath coming down into the tummy. So keep breathing there, and as you do, I'll just tell you this as well. So when we get stressed, we often breathe in a shallow way. We kind of and we breathe up into the chest. And obviously that was kind of an example of an acute stress. But even still, when we're chronically stressed, we tend to breathe only up into the chest. Now, the problem with this is that further creates stress. So it's kind of this cruel thing that we do to ourselves unconsciously. So it's by taking deeper breaths, coming down into the diaphragm, you're helping your body to physiologically calm down, which of course is something that we really want to do when we're talking about fertility yoga. So bring the breath all the way down. And it can just be helpful to remind yourself of this when you're feeling stressed, to take deep breaths, just because taking deep breaths will help your body out enormously. Start to mentally ready yourself for movement, and just in your own time and in your own way, start to draw some movement back into your body, just letting yourself stretch, roll around, yawn, sigh. Just do whatever you need, whatever would feel good to you. And I think I'm going to occupy and take over this mat here and just slightly change my setup so that we can hopefully see things a little bit better. Okay, so what I would like you to do now is, does that work? Kind of. I would like you to come down onto your back on the mat. You might already be there. So we're just going to bring ourselves down onto the back and start with your knees bent. Sorry for the slightly messy setup here. It's a very used studio. And then bring your feet to a hip distance stance, soles of the feet on the floor. And we're just going to start with some very, very gentle pelvic tilts. So start to tip your tailbone up between your legs. So you're really grounding your lower back down, your mid back down onto the floor. And we exhale there. And then inhale, you're going to arch your back. So you're kind of creating that little bit of space. You could maybe even slide your hand underneath. You don't need to slide your hand underneath, but just to feel that there. And then exhale. Tip it back up. Inhale, arch. Exhale, down. One more. And then bring it back to neutral. And then take the arms, bring them up into the sky, bend your elbows, and take hold of opposite elbows in opposite hands. We're then going to draw the right elbow down towards the right side so that the left shoulder lifts up and away from the floor. Take an inhale there. And then exhale, roll back through center. Excuse me, inhale, take it to the other side. So again, the right shoulder comes up and the left elbow is acting as an anchor. So this should just hopefully be a really nice stretch for your shoulders. And inhale back through center. Let's take one more to each side. Inhale here. Exhale. Right elbow coming down, left shoulder lifting up. Inhale, center. Exhale, across. And then inhale, center. Take your arms up into the sky again, and then interlace your fingers. Point your index fingers and your thumbs. Draw the arms down to the sides of the head, and then extend your legs straight out into some yoga stuff. Extend your legs straight out, and just take a nice long stretch here, like you're being pulled from the wrist in one direction, pulled from the ankles in the other. Sorry that I keep yawning. I get up very early here. I teach quite a few classes here. Okay. And then we're going to slide and walk the shoulders over towards the right. And then walk the heels also towards the right a little bit. So you're coming into a supine half moon pose, or Supta Ardha Chandrasana. And we're just getting this nice side opening across the left side of the body. And then inhale, slide and walk everything back to center. Take a nice big stretch. And exhale, slide and walk to the other side. And slide and walk back to center. Unwind and draw the knees in towards your chest and hug your legs. Take a moment just to sigh out. And take your hands onto your knees, right to right, left to left. And draw the knees down towards your chest, and then open up away from each other, and then swing them back together. So you're just taking the knees down, out, around, and back up. And some of you might remember that this movement, this is so great for your hips. This helps to increase the synovial fluid in the hip joint. So the synovial fluid is your lubricant of the hip joint. And our hips, it doesn't even really matter how old you are, sadly. Our hips, they take such a beating in our modern way of living. So the amount that we sit, particularly at desks and in cars, it can be very hard on the hips long term. So we just want to give them some love here. Take the legs now in the other direction. So the leg that was going clockwise is now going counterclockwise, and vice versa on the other side. Okay, take it all the way back through center, and then interlace your fingers over your right shin, flex your right foot. Take your left leg up into the sky, flex that foot. So we're just taking a nice big stretch through that left leg. And then draw your left leg straight down. Just feeling that hip flexor there. And then we're going to hold on to this leg and use it for leverage. So we're just going to tuck the chin in towards the chest and rock up to seated. So you've got that right leg bent. And I'm going to turn towards you, and you stay exactly as you are. I just need to swap my legs because then I'm mirroring you. So what we're now going to do is let that right leg tip out to the side so that the right foot can come up against the inside of the left leg. And then we're going to inhale, lift the arms, and exhale, bow down. Roll the hands up that left leg. Inhale, lift, and exhale, bow. Take one more. And then inhale, lift all the way up. And just ensure that your hips are squared forward here. So sometimes, I'm really exaggerating, but sometimes you'll find that maybe people will take the leg out quite far. Keep it squared, so just everything squared forward. We're going to take an inhale and exhale. Hinge forward from the hips. Reach your arms out like you're giving a hug. And then take your fingertips down to the floor, either side of the knee. Roll the shoulders back. Take a nice big inhale here. And then exhale. Start to walk it down. We're going to take the heart towards the front of the foot. So some people, if you have any sensitivities in your back, to come down with this flat back or the slightly arched back is always safer. Again, if there are sensitivities in the back or the spine. For some people, rounding down feels totally fine, in which case you're welcome to do that. But we still want to start with that elongated spine. We inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, come down, taking the chin down towards the shin or the head down towards the knee, starting to stretch into the back of the leg. And we'll just stay there for a few moments in head to knee or Janusirsasana. And then inhale, lift the head, lift the heart, start to slowly roll back. Now, if you've done these classes with me before, hopefully you'll remember me saying that when we're talking about fertility yoga, it's really difficult because the body is a complex organism. And so we know that certain things can be good for certain parts of the body, but a lot of it is theoretical. And so one of the most important things that you can take away from fertility yoga is simply this time and space to nourish yourself and to know that studies are very conclusive about yoga reducing cortisol, so which is in turn good, of course, for progesterone and generally better for your hormones when we're taking the stress down. So we know that that is a benefit. However, there are some theories, for example, like that pose that we just did, there's some theories that that might be good for uterine blood flow. But I want you to just take it, not with a pinch of salt, but take it as all of this is good for my body. So even if I'm doing a pose that doesn't necessarily have a particular fertility benefit, or if something's not totally proven, what you do know is that what you're doing is really lovely for your body and that that is only a good thing. So I just want you to be aware of that, okay? So yeah. So now we're going to do something for the hips. So this is a tough one. So we're going to bring that right leg up on top of the left and we're going to flex that foot. So we're making it nice and flat, okay? So sometimes people will point and they think that that's flexing, and I understand the confusion, but we want to make it nice and flat. Now, we're having the ankle not on the knee, but just above on the thigh. And then we're going to work the hips a little bit here. You might not go too far. I'm not going to go too far today. So we inhale, we sit up tall, and we exhale and we start to walk forward. And again, heart coming towards the front of that foot. And we hang the head down. I feel like I can hear you groaning from here. And it's into the future. It's in a few hours when you're going to be doing this. So, just breathe. And start to lift the head, lift the heart. Place that right foot down outside the left knee. What in yoga you would traditionally do for this twist is we would end up turning out to the right. but we're going to do the same twist that they would do, or that you would do later in pregnancy yoga, which is that we're going to sit up nice and tall, and we're going to just turn to the left, taking the left fingertips back and opening up here. And this is a nice, safe way to twist. So it's not that we want to avoid that twisting motion in the spine. It's very healthy for your spine. It's just the internal organs that we don't want to compress in certain ways, especially with IVF. Even that's quite theoretical, but it's always better to err on the side of safety. Okay, roll back through center. And then just go ahead and extend that leg all the way out. And just give your legs a little shake out. So we just shake them out, shake them out, shake them out. We can shake out some stale, stagnant energy while we're here. And also let's give the ankles a little twizzle. So we're just going to articulate the feet around and around, making them flat and then pointing. Circle, circle. And the other way. And then we'll start to come back onto the back. You can just bend your knees, place the feet on the floor, roll on back down. And just allow yourself to sigh out. Oh, excuse me. Okay. We're going to just take this all to the other side now. So we're going to take the interlaced fingers over the left shin, flex the left foot. Take your right leg up into the sky, flex that foot. Take an inhale. And then exhale. Draw your right leg all the way down. So we're just getting that nice hip flexor stretch here. And then we're going to just swing it right on up again. We're going to tuck the chin into the chest, sit up nice and tall. And then we're going to let that left leg come out towards the left side. Bring the left foot into the right inner thigh. Extend that right leg all the way out. And we inhale, we lift the arms up. And we exhale and bow. Take a few of those. And then roll it all the way back up. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sink your shoulders, open up through your chest, flex your foot. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward like you want to give a hug. Inhale there. And then exhale, take your fingertips down either side of that leg, roll the shoulders back, send the heart towards the front of that foot. Send some love to that foot. And then if it feels okay to you, you can start to walk it down and take the head down towards the knee or the chin down towards the shin. Again, only round if it feels okay to your back. take another breath here. And then we start to lift the head, lift the heart. The fun one. Bring that ankle up onto the thigh. You might find, excuse me, that you can feel a little bit of a massage coming from your ankle onto your quadricep. It's all in how you frame it. So see this like a deep tissue massage. So we're going to inhale, sit up nice and tall. Oh, and exhale, walk it forward. Again, heart towards the front of the foot. I find this one really hard. It's okay to cry. Okay. Roll yourself all the way back up. And then we take the sole of that left foot, bring it to the outside of the right knee. Sit up really tall as you can. And then we swing that right hand back and your left hand can just rest near your foot. And we take that beautiful open twist so we can give the spine some of that twisting love. Start to roll back through center. Unwind the legs. Take both legs straight out in front of you now and ground through your sits bones. And a couple things to say here. So sometimes when people are sitting like this, they might feel like they're being really drawn back. I'm exaggerating, but they might feel a lot of tightness around the hips, the hip flexors, the back, in which case sitting up onto something like a folded blanket can be really helpful, or one of the props that we use here are these thin foam blocks. I don't have any of these at home, I have to be honest. I have more of the yoga bricks, which in the US we call blocks. I'm not sure if that's a British American thing or if it's just different regions. I do live in the UK. I've lived in the UK for 15 years, but again, I'm not sure whether that's just, anyway, it doesn't matter. You could sit up onto something like that, and that can just be really helpful, because what that does is it elevates your sits bones, and it usually makes it much easier for you to keep a nice elongated spine. So again, you can sit up onto a thin foam block, or you could sit up onto a folded blanket. I'm mostly telling you about the props in case you're kind of getting into the idea of doing more yoga. And props are amazingly helpful and beneficial, and it's not about being stronger or fitter. Like, I'm not going to use any props because that's, I don't know, whatever stupid reason, that's for old people, or that's for inflexible people, or whatever. They're so helpful for so many people, myself included, and it doesn't matter how flexible you are, they offer different things. Okay, spiel over. So we're going to flex the feet. Maybe sit up onto something small if you're feeling really drawn back here. Take a big inhale, lift the arms. Let's take 3 bows over both legs. Inhale, roll back through center. Exhale down. And then roll it all the way up. And we're going to sink the shoulders, flex the feet, sit up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips, reach your arms out like you want to give a hug. And then exhale, take your fingertips down either side of your legs. Roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest. If this is enough, stay here. If it feels okay to you and you want to take it further, start to take the head down towards the knees. Take a few deep breaths here, stretching from your heels to the back of your neck. And inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And then we're going to slowly, again, roll back down onto the back, which you can either do with bent legs or straight legs. Oh, once you come down onto the back, take a moment just to stretch out in any way that would feel good to you. Bring your feet to a hip distance stance, bending your knees. And draw the hands and your arms to the sides of your torso. Walk your heels towards your bottom as close as is comfortable. And then you're going to press through your feet. And inhale, lift the hips, lift the pelvis. And then interlace the fingers under your body, walk the shoulder blades together. And we're going to squeeze and lift, coming up into our bridge pose, up into Setu Bandhasana. Setu Bandhasana is good for your kidneys, your adrenals, your thyroid, obviously also working your muscles here and coming up into that nice back bend. You can play with rolling up into your heels, rolling up into the balls of your feet, letting your heels lift. One more breath here. And then exhale. Take your back down to the earth, unwind your shoulders. Walk your feet wider than a hip distance stance. We're also going to take another form of a gentle twist that's just really, really lovely for the back, lovely for the hip flexors and the quads. So all we're going to do is just drop the knees towards one side. So if you're dropping your legs to the right, you're kind of pushing off the inside of that left foot so that you get that stretch into your left quadricep. And roll back through center. And over to the other side. Take one more in each direction. Inhale, take it all the way back through center. Walk your feet together. And then let the soles of your feet come together and tip your knees out to the sides. And you can just relax your arms where they're comfortable. So you're coming into a supine bound angle pose, or Supta Baddha Konasana. If you've got sensitivities with your back, this is when a bolster can actually be really helpful, or a big thick pillow. So you can do this same kind of pose over a bolster with your knees coming out to the sides. And I have to say, so I teach it, I've been teaching at these retreats for 6 years, and every evening at the retreat, there's a restorative yoga class that I teach. And every single week, at least one guest, but usually more, says to me, I'm going to go home and get a bolster. They're so nice. They're so helpful. I teach a free restorative yoga class on Sunday evenings on the free app Insight Timer. It's not every Sunday. I'll be doing it this Sunday. Obviously, when I'm here, I don't typically do it, but I leave here on Saturday, so I'm going to do it this Sunday, and probably the following one. So if you ever fancy some free restorative yoga, feel free to pop on over to that live class on a Sunday evening, UK Sunday evening, 7 p.m. And let's just take about 2 to 3 more breaths here, really just letting everything be open. Okay, and start to turn the legs back together, tipping them back up towards, back up with the soles of the feet coming onto the floor, and then actually go ahead and take hold of the knees and just let yourself sigh out as you hug the legs towards you. Let's carry on with one last hip opener while we're here. So we're going to take the hands up between the legs, reach for the insides of the feet, draw the knees down towards the armpits or towards the sides of the chest, and just take some nice deep breaths here. If you want, take your elbows under your knees, hands around to the outside edges of the feet. And then just gently rock and sway, have a play. And then rock all the way back to center. Cross your ankles, unwind, and then cross your ankles. Take your right hand to your right knee, left to your left. Tuck the chin in towards your chest and roll all the way back up to seated. And then once you have come up to seated, keep going, take the hands over your body, and then start to unwind and walk yourself back into a child's pose. So you're going to take your bottom back towards your heels, forehead to the floor, belly over or between the thighs. Let yourself sigh out. Take another breath here. And then we're going to come down into a super relaxing pose. So we're going to walk all the way down onto the belly. And we're going to come into a pose, I have no idea why it's named this. So it's called Crocodile Pose, which sounds like it would be a horrible pose. It's actually a really, really nice pose. So what we're going to do is we're going to come onto the belly, and then we're going to stack the hands. What I like to do is make sure that my index finger knuckle, so that bottom knuckle, is going to come about midway between my eyebrows. So to that third eye point, And so then when we come down, we just get that little bit of stimulation on that acupuncture point or that third eye point. Oh, and just let yourself sigh out here. Couple more breaths here. And start to lift the head, lift the heart. Take the hands to the sides of your chest. Gently press up and back to a child's pose again. Sigh out. And then look up towards your hands. Spread your fingers nice and wide against the mat. So it's like you have these two starfish sectioning the mat or the floor. You're going to lean forward, curl the toes under behind you, send your hips back, roll your shoulders back. And then take a nice walk of your downward facing dog, just really stretching into the backs of the legs that little bit more. Push back into the down dog, roll the shoulders back. Take a couple more breaths there. And from here, start to look up towards your hands, bend your knees, and then either step or hop forward. Nothing too much more that we're going to do. We're then going to roll down again. So we've spent a lot of time on the back today. So we're going to roll down again and just come all the way down onto the back. Let yourself sigh out. And take your hands together somewhere above your chest and just start to rub your palms. So you're just trying to get a little bit of heat into your hands. And then take your hands and bring them over your closed eyes. And just let yourself sigh out or whatever else comes naturally to you. Gently roll your hands away and get yourself comfortable here on your back, either letting your legs extend and splay or keeping your knees bent. Relax your arms how they're comfortable. Stretch out in any ways that you would like to stretch out. And just let yourself melt down. If you want to put a blanket over your body, go ahead and do so. And once you've melted down, just close your eyes. And take a few last deep inhales through the nose, with exhales sighing or blowing the air out of the mouth. And just do that as many times as you need. Let your natural breath take over again when you're ready. And again, feel your face just start to soften. And actually, let's do that by visualizing a beautiful blue halo of light above your crown, above your head. And imagine that in that light there is a calming, beautiful energy. And just see that halo of light growing brighter, warmer, bigger. And imagine it starting to cascade down over your crown, your brow, over your eyes, your cheeks, your mouth, over the jaw. Bring it down the back of the head and the neck. And just imagine this light as a relaxing force, just gently relaxing all of the little muscles in your face and your body. And feel it continuing to come down over the shoulders, over the chest, down the arms, through the back, the belly, the hands. Feel that light coming down and around the hips, the pelvis, down and around the legs, your knees, your ankles, all the way around the feet. Just imagine yourself being held in this beautiful, gentle, calming light. And just let go of anything that you can let go of here, letting go into that light. And you can either choose to keep that light with you as you move through the rest of this day, or you might decide to just let it evaporate and dissipate now. take the awareness and bring it back to your breath. And just start to deepen the breath through the nose. And draw some movement back into your fingers and into your toes. And then gently roll to one side. And then bring yourself all the way back up to seated. When you come back up to seated, take your hands into prayer in front of your heart. Gently bow, honoring your body, your light, your practice on this earth. And thank you all so much for coming to this session. Again, we will be back next week on Zoom, Thursdays, 5:45. You can sign up on my website, Thursdays, 5:45 UK time. And, there was one more thing I wanted to say. So again, because of copyright issues, I couldn't do this, but one of the things that I like to do sometimes at the end of a yoga class is play this track called Sit Around the Fire. And it's by Ram Dass, John Hopkins, and East Forest. It's a collaborative track. It's about 8 or 9 minutes. It's really lovely to just lie down and listen to this track. There's a voice from a very beautiful teacher named Ram Dass who died about 2 years ago. And you hear some of his words from a talk that I think he gave in probably the 70s or the 80s. So if you want something really beautiful and relaxing to listen to, even right now, you can find it on Spotify or on Apple. I'm sure you can find it other places too. Have a lovely weekend ahead and a lovely week, and I will see you hopefully next Thursday on Zoom. Ciao.